My story is an echo in the heart of every woman who has ever had to rebuild her life from the ashes of a broken promise. This is not a tale of dramatic betrayal or scandalous headlines, but a quiet chronicle of an ordinary American family that came apart at the seams. It is about the death of a dream and the slow, patient, painful birth of a self I was meant to be all along. I speak these words from a place of hard-won peace, from a porch swing on a familiar street in a house that is now truly a home. If you are in the thick of your own unraveling, know this: you are not alone, and your bravery is already there waiting for you to find it. My story begins in a beautiful house on a maple-lined street in a suburb that could exist anywhere in America. It was the kind of house we saved for 4 years, a colonial with black shutters and a wide, welcoming porch. I planted those hydrangeas myself, tending them from tiny sprouts to bursting blue clouds. My husband Michael and I painted the front door a cheerful red the year our daughter Emma was born. Our son Jake learned to ride his bike on this quiet pavement. This address was not just where we lived, it was the headquarters of our shared life, a life built with care and hope over 15 years. From the outside, we were the portrait everyone recognized: the handsome husband with a good job, the attentive wife who volunteered at school, the 2 bright kids in soccer cleats and ballet slippers. I was the curator of this beautiful life. I found my purpose in the details, in homemade Halloween costumes and perfectly packed bento box lunches. I chaired the school book fair. I remembered every teacher's birthday. I was so proud of our tidy, fruitful life. I believed with every cell in my body that this was the ultimate fulfillment of love, a family safe and thriving under a solid roof. The first cracks were not earthquakes, they were hairline fractures in the foundation. I dismissed them as the normal wear and tear of a long marriage. He started working later, more often blaming a new demanding project. His briefcase came home closed and stayed by the door. His phone, which used to charge on the kitchen counter singing with family alerts, now lived in his pocket. Face down, conversations over dinner became logistical updates. Did you pay the cable bill? Can you take Jake to practice on Saturday? The deep, easy talks about books and politics and dreams evaporated, replaced by a polite, efficient silence. I noticed a new distance in his eyes, a kind of polite vacancy. When I spoke, he stopped asking about my day. He stopped really seeing me. I told myself he was under pressure. I told myself this was what midlife looked like. I redoubled my efforts. I planned a surprise 10th anniversary vow renewal. I researched romantic getaways. I bought lingerie. I tried new recipes. I became a student of my own husband, trying to decipher the text of his unhappiness so I could rewrite it. I was so busy fixing us I did not realize he had already checked out of the project. The night it ended was so ordinary it haunts me still. It was a Tuesday in late August. The air was thick with summer and the sound of sprinklers. We sat on the porch swing after putting the kids to bed. I was talking about Emma's upcoming science fair project. He was staring at the fireflies, not at me. His hands were still in his lap. Then he spoke. His voice was calm, flat, devoid of the anger or passion that might have made it feel like a fight. He said he was not happy. He said he felt like he was living a script written by someone else. He said he loved me as the mother of his children, but the romantic love was gone. He said he was sorry, but he could not do this anymore. The world did not shatter, it just went mute. I remember the feel of the wooden slats of the swing against my legs, the distant bark of a dog. The words hung in the humid air between us like physical objects. I could not form a response. My mind was a white blank screen. I looked at his profile, this man I had known since college, and I did not recognize him. He had become a stranger in the body of my husband. He had been contemplating this exit for months, maybe years, and had finally decided to walk through the door. The finality in his tone was the most terrifying thing I had ever heard. The days that followed were a blur of surreal practicalities. We had to tell the children. We sat them down in the living room on a Saturday morning with pancakes growing cold on their plates. We used the careful phrases we had rehearsed: Daddy and Mommy love you very much, but we are going to live in different houses. We are still a family, just a different kind of family. Emma, who was 10, started crying angry tears, asking what she had done wrong. Jake, who was 7, went silent and buried his face in The couch cushion their pain was a knife twisting in a wound. I did not yet fully feel I had to be strong for them, so I swallowed my own tsunami. Michael packed his suits and his books and moved into a sleek downtown apartment. I helped him fold shirts, a bizarrely intimate act for a dissolution. The house, which had always buzzed with life, became a cavern of echoes. I would walk past the empty side of the closet, the silence at dinner with just the kids, and me was deafening. I felt like a ghost haunting the ruins of my own life. I was not just losing a husband, I was losing my identity, my future, my sense of belonging in the world. I was Mrs. Michael Reynolds. Who was I without that name? The first true act of bravery was not a grand gesture. It was the morning a week after he left when I made a single cup of coffee. I stood at the counter and watched the pot drip, one slow drop at a time. I poured it into my favorite mug, not his. I took it to the kitchen table and I sat. I did not turn on the news. I did not scroll through my phone. I did not call my mother. I simply sat in the crushing silence of my new reality, and I breathed. I let the loss wash over me. I let the fear, and I did not run from it. That simple act of staying present in my own devastation was the first brick I would lay in my new foundation. The legal process was a cold education in becoming my own advocate. My lawyer, Linda, was a godsend, a woman with sharp eyes and a kinder heart. Then she let on. She explained the language of dissolution, asset division, spousal support, parenting plans. I had to learn to think not as a wounded wife, but as the CEO of my own future survival. It was terrifying. I had always let Michael handle the finances, the investments, the taxes. Now I had to understand it all. I spent nights with spreadsheets and documents, my eyes blurring with tears and confusion. I discovered a ferocity in myself I never knew existed. During one mediation session, Michael's lawyer suggested a standard every other weekend schedule for the kids. My heart seized. I looked at Michael and saw his passive acceptance. I found my voice. It was shaky but clear. I said no. I said my children need both parents present and engaged. I advocated for a 2-2-5 split, a more equitable sharing of time and responsibility. I argued for keeping the family home for the children's stability. I was not negotiating for me, I was fighting for them. And in doing so, I learned how to fight for myself. The rebuilding started with tiny defiant acts. I signed up for a pottery class at the community center. My hands trembled as I centered the clay on the wheel. It collapsed again and again. My teacher, a gentle man named Ben, said, "The clay feels your fear, you must be firmer with it." I laughed through my frustration, but I kept showing up week after week. I made lopsided bowls and vases with cracks. I glazed them in colors he would have hated, vibrant purples and oranges. I brought my first successful piece home, a small, slightly uneven bowl, and placed it on my kitchen windowsill. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. I also began to walk every morning as the sun was just hinting at the horizon. I laced up my sneakers and stepped outside. The neighborhood was asleep. My footsteps, the only sound, the rhythm of my stride, became a meditation. I am here, I am whole, I am enough. I walked through autumn leaves and winter frost and the first green buds of spring. I watched the seasons change and felt myself changing with them. My body grew stronger, my breath deeper. The walks were not an escape, they were a return to my own physical being, a reclamation of the vessel that housed my soul. Friendship was a landscape that shifted beneath my feet. Some of my married friends did not know how to hold my new reality. I was a walking reminder that their stability could be fragile. Invitations to couples dinners dwindled, conversations felt strained. I let those friendships go with a quiet ache, making space for what was to come. I found my way to a divorce recovery group in the basement of a local church. It was not religious, it was human. But before we continue, I want to extend a very special invitation to you. Subscribe the channel and leave a like. This helps me see that you support me and enjoy my stories, and comment down below which city you are watching us from right now. Let's continue. We were a circle of women of all ages and backgrounds, a young woman whose husband left after 3 months, an older woman starting over after 40 years of marriage, a mother of 4 who was terrified of poverty. We shared our stories, our fears, our small victories. The first time I said out loud, "I am angry at him for breaking our family," the room did not fall apart. It held me. They nodded. They understood. These women became my tribe. We celebrated each other's first solo tax returns, new apartment keys, promotions at work. They were the mirrors that showed me my own strength. Co-parenting was the crucible where my newfound strength was tested daily. We established rules, communication through a parenting app, scheduled exchanges in neutral locations. The first time I dropped the kids at his new apartment building with its unfamiliar lobby, an elevator smell. Jake clung to my leg. I pried him off with a smile that felt carved from stone. Driving away, the empty car echoed with their absence. I cried for 10 blocks. Then I took a deep breath. I decided that my time without them would not be mourning time, it would be building time. On my first free weekend, I went to the hardware store. I bought a gallon of paint the color of sea glass. I moved all the furniture in my bedroom, draped the bed in sheets, and I painted until my arms ached and my hair was speckled with green. The first was erasing the beige we had chosen together, covering it with a color that sang to my soul. I slept in that room that night, and for the first time it felt like mine. I learned other skills. I watched YouTube videos to fix a running toilet. I changed a tire in a Target parking lot with my kids watching through the window. Each act was a declaration. I do not need to be rescued. I am capable. The financial fears were a constant. Low-grade hum. I had my freelance work, but it was inconsistent. Linda helped me secure a fair support agreement, but it was a temporary bridge, not a solution. I took a part-time job at a local bookstore. The simple rhythm of stacking shelves and helping customers find stories was a balm. I started saying yes to every small design job that came my way. Logos for friends, startups, invitations for school events. My portfolio and my confidence grew in tandem. I opened a separate bank account and watched my own balance slowly climb. The independence was terrifying and exhilarating. My children were my guiding lights and my greatest worry. I was determined not to poison them with my pain. I never spoke ill of their father to them. I validated their feelings, their anger, their sadness, their confusion. I said, it is okay to miss Dad. It is okay to be angry at me. It is okay to feel all of it at once. We started new rituals: Friday night pizza and movie nights in a fort in the living room, Sunday morning pancake art. They saw me cry sometimes and I would say, "Mommy is sad right now, but I will be okay." It is important for you to know feelings do not break us. I also showed them a mother coming alive. I played music loudly in the kitchen and danced while doing dishes. I brought home my weird pottery and displayed it proudly. I talked about my clients and my classes. I let them see me struggle and persevere. One night Emma said to me, "You seem more like you now, Mom." I did not know what she meant, but I knew it was the greatest compliment I had ever received. The final divorce decree arrived on a Tuesday. It was a plain legal-sized envelope with the court's return address. I sat at the same kitchen table where I had drunk that first lonely cup of coffee. I slid the paper out. It was dense with legalese, but the meaning was clear. It was over. The legal bond that had held us for 15 years was severed. I expected a flood of grief, but what came was a profound and startling quiet. A chapter was closed. The book, however, was still being written. I felt a weight lift from my shoulders, a weight I had carried for so long I had mistaken it for part of myself. Forgiveness was a journey I undertook for me, not for him. It did not happen overnight. It began with releasing the corrosive daily anger. I stopped replaying the last years looking for clues. I stopped imagining different outcomes. I accepted that he was a man who made a choice that shattered my world, but a choice I could not change. Holding on to rage was like drinking poison, and expecting him to get sick. It was exhausting me. I wrote him a letter I never sent. In it, I poured out all my hurt. And then I wrote, I release you to your own journey. I forgive you for leaving so I can be free to stay present in my own life. I burned the letter in my backyard fire pit, watching the ashes float away on the wind. I also had to forgive myself for ignoring the signs, for losing myself in the first place, for believing my worth was tied to a title, for the years I spent making myself smaller to fit a life that was shrinking around me. This was the harder forgiveness. It came in whispers during my morning walks, in the quiet moments of self-compassion. I learned to say to that younger version of me, you did the best you could with what you knew. I am sorry I left you behind. I am here for you now. Years have passed now. The sharp pain has dulled into a scar, a part of my history, but not my entire story. I completed my degree. My freelance design work grew into a small, thriving agency. I work from a sunlit office in what was once the formal living room. The house is filled with my children's laughter, my art books from my travels, the quiet hum of a life I built with my own hands. Michael and I found an uneasy peace as co-parents. We attend school events together. We text about illnesses and schedules. We are not friends, but we are respectful allies in the raising of our remarkable children. I can now look at him and feel a neutral kindness, the way one might regard a familiar acquaintance from a long ago chapter. The love is gone, but so is the hate. What remains is a shared history and two children who are the best of both of us. I have even dared to love again, tentatively, cautiously, with a man named David who is not threatened by my strength or my past. He is a quiet, steady presence who loves my children and respects my independence. He asks for my opinion and actually listens to the answer with him. I am not rebuilding, I am simply building something new from a place of wholeness, not lack. Today as I sit on this porch swing, the hydrangeas are blooming again. I am waiting for Emma to come home from college for the summer. Jake is inside practicing guitar. My business emails are closed for the day. The silence is not empty, it is rich and full. It is mine. I am no longer a ghost in my own home, I am its heart. My restoration was not about getting my old life back. That life was a beautiful shell that had grown too small for the woman inside. It was about cracking open that shell and carefully, lovingly building a new structure, one that could hold all of me, the mother, the artist, the business owner, the friend, the woman who survived. This is the true life story of a brave woman. It is a story of divorce, yes, but more than that, it is a story of restoration, the restoration of a voice that had learned to whisper, the restoration of a self that had been left in a cardboard box, the restoration of a life not to what it was, but to what it was always meant to be. If you are in the middle of your own story, if the ground has fallen away beneath your feet, know this: the bravery is in the next breath, the courage is in the next small step. The restoration begins the moment you choose to stay present in the ruins and whisper to yourself, what now? The answer to that question will be the most beautiful story you will ever tell.